guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a personal Q&A. I love doing these, but they're also kind of tricky because I try to keep a lot of my life private, but then I also want to let you guys into the vulnerable stuff too and be just transparent with you guys. So I'm going to do that in today's video. There are lots of questions that I'm like, ooh, I don't really want to answer that, but I love hearing what people have to say about these kind of questions too. So I totally get it. I get where you guys are coming from. But just know it's kind of hard to be on the other side of it. This might be a long video, so grab yourself a snack, a cup of coffee. Today, I made my tea that I always make. It is the copycat of the honey citrus mint tea from Starbucks. I showed you guys how I make it in a video, so I'll link that video down below if you guys are curious, because I'm not a tea drinker, but I do love this tea. It's a little too hot to drink right now. Sorry, you can see that I'm wearing sweatpants. I mean, I'm wearing a sweatshirt, but I feel like this is a cute sweatshirt, and these sweatpants are like, they just don't go. But you know what? It's a cozy day. It's been raining on and off, and I feel like the lighting is just super off. The second I saw some sun, I was like, I gotta get my camera, I've gotta film. Hopefully it stays this way, we'll see. So I asked you guys, as always, on my Instagram to submit some questions, and you guys always come through with great ones. So if you don't follow me over there, definitely do. I post a lot about my life. I posted about making the tea and just really cozy stuff. So with all that being said, let's get started into this very personal Q&A. So this is the first question, and I am starting with this because I feel like I have to update you guys on these things, and it says, how are you doing? And I would say I'm doing okay. In some ways I'm doing really great. Like having a home and making a home and just homemaking makes my heart really happy, and that's been super fun. And to have community over here and just like have people over and serve people and feed them is just such a great part of what I was hoping to have with the home. But some other things that I've really not talked to you guys about is behind the scenes I've had a lot of health issues, and it has been a long journey to try and figure stuff out, and this past week I got a lot of answers, so it's just been really heavy on me. I've not told a lot of people about my health issues because they're just very personal, and I have very strict boundaries with social media, and there are just certain things I do not share, especially if I'm like going through them. But I feel like it's been really hard for me to hide it, so to say, because I do vlog my life and I do talk about what I'm going through, and so I don't mean to be ambiguous. Well, I guess I do, because I don't really want to share everything, just because a lot of it is really, you know, health issues are very personal. But I guess just kind of being transparent with you guys without being super vulnerable, that I am going through a lot of stuff, and it has been really hard, and you know, really only the closest people in my life are walking through it with me, and I think that's okay. And so yeah, I want to be transparent without being too vulnerable with you guys, and maybe once I'm doing better I'll speak to it. I really don't know. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure all that out, how I feel about sharing stuff like that, because I've never gone through stuff like this before, and it's very difficult. So yeah, I would say I'm doing okay. Some things are really great, like we are finding such great community here. We're getting so involved with our church, and God is really providing in those ways, and He's even been providing through my health issues, as hard as they are, finding me really great doctors and a team of people. It's just been really awesome to see how God provides and how near He is through all these hard things, and through the good things like having a home and building community and just building mine and Sam's family as newlyweds. So I don't know if any of that made sense, but that is how I'm doing. So this next question says, how did you and Sam first discuss finances and money and family planning? So I had mentioned this briefly, I think it was in our engagement Q&A, that we didn't really talk about a lot of personal stuff prior to getting engaged, and a lot of people took that wrong. They thought I meant like we didn't even talk about if we wanted kids or if we wanted a family, and that's not what I meant. I just meant we didn't talk about how many kids we wanted together and what their names would be, and start dreaming up of all this stuff while we were dating, because if we weren't going to get married, then it would just, like, if we were to break up, all those dreams would be crushed with us breaking up. Like, it was just an emotional boundary that we put in place for the both of us. So we discussed things in dating, like obviously it would be very important to me if Sam wanted kids or not, because if he didn't want kids and I really wanted kids, that would be a problem in the future and things like that. But we discussed more specific stuff after we got engaged. We actually did discuss finances prior to getting engaged. Like, I knew how much Sam made and he knew how much I made. I can't really tell you how the conversations got brought up. It just naturally happened. But I will say we were kind of cautious with what we talked about, because obviously you want to talk about all the fun stuff. But we kind of set those boundaries in place. But the stuff that we had to talk about prior, we did, like finances. And obviously, like, if Sam had, like, I'm just making this up, but let's say me or Sam had a huge amount of debt, I think that's something that would be very important to tell somebody. You know, once the relationship gets really serious and you know, are pretty positive you'll get engaged and you've talked about engagement and things like that, I think it's really important that you discuss those big topics. Okay, this next question, tips for buying a house. My husband and I are hoping to be able to do that in the next year. I would say, obviously, if you want to buy a house, you need to determine your budget and you need to determine how much you need to save in order to buy a house, because yes, there's the down payment that you can see, but there are so many other expenses that go into it, like closing costs and just so many things that you won't expect. I would determine how much house can you afford. I think great resources for this are like Dave Ramsey and things like that. I would determine how much your down payment needs to be, how much you want to put down, what kind of loan you want to get, all of that. And so how we were able to save, we both have been very, I would say, wise with our money. In some ways we've failed for sure. I'm not saying we're perfect, but I think you should never, ever, ever spend obviously more than you make, but I don't even think you should spend as much as you make. Like, I think a really big part of financial planning should be to save, especially for something like a house. Just really getting organized. It's very difficult and it's just very overwhelming, but I would educate yourself a ton on the house market, all things like that. So those are my tips, is to really highly educate yourself before you get into buying a house. Okay, so this is the question I have been asked so much today. It was like the #1 question, and it's a question I get a lot, but like especially today. And I've tried to answer this question before, and I took it out of a video because I felt like I was not making any sense and I felt like I didn't say things right. So here I try again. Here's the question. Are you on any form of birth control? The reason I don't quite answer this question is because it's very controversial in the world, especially in the Christian world. And before I actually say anything, I want you guys to know that I have prayed for convictions and I have prayed through these things. It's not just like a decision I flippantly made. Just to put that out there first. But to answer the question, yes, I am on birth control, and the form of birth control I'm on is the pill. It's not what I initially wanted. I didn't really know what I wanted at first. I thought I did. And I obviously went to like the doctor and had these discussions and things like that. And I had very specific parameters under which I wanted my birth control to be. One, if it was the pill, that it would not have any abortive factors. I told her if I get pregnant and I'm on the pill, I want my baby to be formed because I want that baby. Actually, that was really my only main thing. And so after lots of prayer and decision making, me and Sam decided that that was the best thing to do for us. I really wanted to avoid any hormonal birth control, but we felt that doing a definite birth control would be best for us, because a lot of people are like, well, you need to do natural family planning. Like, if you're a Christian, that's what you should do. And because you shouldn't be trying to control like when you have a kid. And natural family planning is still trying to plan when you're gonna have a family. And so I prayed and really thought through the question, like, is it wrong for me to kind of plan, or I guess kind of avoid having a baby? And I don't feel a conviction about it for many reasons. One, because I fully trust that God is sovereign and in control. I believe that if God wants me to have a baby, I'll have a baby. Whether I'm on the pill, I could be infertile, and God could still bless us with a child whenever. We have said, God, we are going to get on the pill, but Lord, if that's not your plan for us, make it known. I've actually had no issues on the pill. It's not affected me in any way. I know a lot of people have had really bad experiences, like one of my friends has, and then a lot of my friends haven't had any bad experiences. So if you are in the process of making this decision, because a lot of girls have like messaged me and said, I'm engaged and I need to decide, I would really encourage you to pray about it and figure out, what do you feel convictions about? Because my strong conviction was that if I do have a baby and whatever form of birth control I'm taking would prevent that baby from living, then I want no part of it. And that was my conviction. I don't know if that made any sense at all. I really hope it did, but I feel like I should just leave it there because I always try to talk about things over and over and over again. So yes, I'm on the pill and it hasn't been bad for me. I do want to say this though, if you do decide to get on it, I was terrified because obviously you hear all these terrible things and how it makes you fat and all these crazy things. And I know it affects everybody different, and I would avoid, this is my tip, I would avoid asking people what brand they have, because the brand I was given, I didn't know anybody that had it. And so I was like, great, I'm given this terrible brand and I just kind of want what this person has. But the doctor prescribes what they think is best for you based off of what you tell them, all of your health things and things like that. So that's my answer. Okay, this question is quite personal. Is getting a wax down there worth it? I want to try it, but I'm nervous about the whole thing. Girl, it is worth it, especially if like it's your honeymoon. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I'll do it again. I mean, maybe if we went like on a vacation. It's just nice to not have to worry about anything down there. And it just is seamless. Like, it is so nice. I do not regret it one bit. It's painful. It's not as bad as you would think. And it's over pretty quick, but it's definitely not a pleasant experience. Next question, where is your tea kettle from? It's actually from Crate and Barrel. We got it as a wedding gift. It's a super nice tea kettle. Sam is very into pour overs, and that tea kettle is perfect for a pour over or like gooseneck kettle. And I use it a lot of the time for my tea, and I think it's beautiful sitting out on the counter too. Okay, I love this question. It's kind of like a follow-up question. How do you feel about your open shower? We love it. So if you guys didn't see our empty house tour, we have a shower, and it's a curbless shower, which means there's no glass or anything. It's just a literal open shower with the rest of our bathroom. And we love it. I love it. I love it because cleaning is so minimal. If you guys have a glass shower, you know how hard it is to keep it clean. It's such a pain. And I don't have to deal with that, which is super nice. And surprisingly, water doesn't get everywhere. It really stays in the shower. Like, it's a great thing. That's the only downside is like, if I'm trying to get ready, I can't be in the bathroom while Sam's taking a shower because it gets really steamy because there's nothing kind of blocking the steam. So yeah, I would actually possibly do it again in our next house. That's how much I love it. How many kids do you and Sam want to have? I think I've answered this before, but I think we're at 4 right now. I don't think we want to do more than 4, but I really do love a lot of kids. So yeah, I think 4 is our number. Who knows? That could change. I really like this question. It says, how do you change a bad day around and make it a good one? So if I'm having a bad day, it depends, because sometimes I'm the kind of person that like wants to get rid of my feelings as much as I can. So either like completely distract myself or pretend like it's not happening. And so what really helps me is praying, but not just like praying in my head, because that does not go well for me. I get distracted really, really quick. But instead, journaling, like just writing to God, like, Lord, this is what I'm down about. This is what I'm struggling with. And then voicing those, asking him for help, and then praising him. That is the key thing that really turns it around, is setting my mind on things above and focusing my mind on what God has done for me, and that this life is not permanent, and that one day I'll have eternity with him, and really focusing on who he has made me to be, what my purpose is on this earth, and how he chose me to be a part of his story. I find that when I really set my mind on things above and on things about God, it makes my bad day seem so small in view of how big God is in the best way possible. And that's biblical. It's all through Philippians and Romans and so many different verses in the Bible that talk about transforming your mind and thinking positive thoughts so that his peace will be added to us. Like, there's so many things, and it just really puts us in view of what God has done and his grace and mercy and glory. And that's how I turn my bad day around. It doesn't always work right away, but it's definitely a discipline that is so helpful. Okay, this is a great question, and I feel like it goes into everything we've talked about today. Does putting your life online ever make you nervous? Want to start YouTube, but I don't know. Yes, it's terrifying, actually. That is why I have very specific boundaries with YouTube. Like, you guys don't know probably 90% of my life. And I think that's good. I think it's healthy. I show you guys some fun stuff and some things I enjoy doing, and I'll talk to you guys about our marriage, but ultimately you don't know a lot of personal stuff, and I think it should be that way. At least for me, I just have very specific boundaries, and that makes me feel safe and comfortable, and I'm very careful about what I share on the internet. It definitely makes me nervous, and it's something I have to be very cautious of. You guys might not even notice it, but there's a lot of thought that goes into what I share and what I don't share. It's definitely something to consider when deciding to want to start YouTube. Okay, we'll end on a fun question. It says, dream place to travel to. Currently, right now, I really want to go to Italy and the French, like France countryside. I just think it's truly a beautiful place. I love Europe. I'd also take Japan. There's a lot of places I want to go to. Thailand, like, I'll take anything, honestly, at this point. But right now, top one is Italy, I would say. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. I hope it was a little bit of an insight to who I am in my life and my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, this Q&A, and thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Instagram if you want to stick around and follow my life. And thank you again for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.